Morning, peeps. So title of this video is we're looking ahead. We're looking to the next week ahead. Okay. Now I've had a few interactions in a few of my last videos with people, and some of them, been on the index, maybe about the same length of time as me. Maybe some of them are a bit newer to the table. And what's going to be happening coming up is we're going to start getting European matches back on, Champions League and Europa League. Now, if you've been on the index since like this time last year, and you've had experience of this before, what you tend to notice, or what happens, what Football Index do, is they basically run. Oh, so let's have a look at this. Sorry. So for the match days, single and double and treble, okay, you can see it says the amount of matches that are on. So 1 to 4 matches will be a single, 5 to 14 will be a double, 15 plus is a treble match day, okay? And then you can see European quarterfinal plus, okay? So when we get to Champions League quarterfinals, Europa League quarterfinals, those games are treble match days, regardless of how many fixtures are on. It could be 1, could be 2, whatever. So we're starting to get into that period now where European football's kicking back in, okay? This makes, like, last year, probably the best example, I could stutter and slur my words, right? But the best example of this, and I don't know if his graph will really shows exactly, because it's over a longer period of time, okay? But Andy Robertson last year, yeah, I guess kind of catches it a bit, was trading about the kind of low £1 mark, and then the further Liverpool went in the Champions League, it jumped up, and the graph is so big and the ceiling on it is £3, so you don't really see all the little intricate movements. But he's went from being around £1 to being up to £1.30, £1.40, and then towards the back end of the season, Champions League final, you can see he gets up to that kind of close to that 150 mark, somewhere around there. And that's a great example of a player who is getting, bringing interest in, and people jumping on him because they're going far in the Champions League, they're going far in Europe, okay? So we're going to have a wee look to the week ahead, okay? Now, I've jumped straight into next Thursday, guys. You always want to be planning as far ahead as possible and then working back the way. So we've got a bunch of these games we've already touched on, like Arsenal Bate, Lazio Sevilla we spoke about a little bit, Inter Rapid Vienna we've looked at a couple of times, and Zurich and Napoli, we had a wee chat about that the other day. So Europa League is starting to kick in, and the way Europa League works is it'll go, Champions League staggers a lot more at this stage. Like for example, let's have a look at Wednesday. On Wednesday we've got Tottenham and Dortmund and Ajax and Real, okay, so we'll look at both of them. They're playing their first legs on the 13th, okay, and then their second leg isn't going to be until the 5th of March, okay, so it's a full 2 weeks for that tie to come to an end. And in that time, obviously, there'll be first legs for the other half of the tree, and it's really, that they're really staggering out this stage, the last 16. After this stage is the quarterfinal, and that's when you get into treble media days and everything, okay? So Real Madrid's players, you're looking at them already and you're thinking, well, they should progress past Ajax, but when will they get past Ajax? When's the date in the diary you want to be looking at? And that date is the 5th of March, so between now and then, they've got a really competitive fixture list. They've obviously got a derby at the weekend, and then they've got Ajax, which, it shouldn't be competitive on paper, but you never know in the Champions League, especially in Amsterdam Arena. Girona at home, Levante away, 2 straightforward matches. Barcelona in the Cup doesn't really affect us too much, and then Barcelona in the league, and then Ajax away. So it's a really tough set of fixtures, and after that they're going into the quarter-final, which is a treble match day, and then the run of fixtures after that, they don't have, you might say Villarreal, Valencia, Bilbao, Vigo will give them a bit of a game, but otherwise you're looking at the rest of their fixtures for the season, and they're looking pretty hot, Champions League quarter-finals and beyond, treble match days, and the fixtures from that point onwards, from really the 5th of March onwards, they're looking really, really hot. So I'm saying, guys, you want to plan as far ahead as possible now. We're getting into this European stuff is coming back into the mix. And that Real Madrid timeline we put on there starts in a month, so if there's somebody who's trading at a great price now that you don't mind, you don't mind not winning or not having the potential to win goal and assist bonuses when that fixture list, is on the horizon, you're happy to just take the capital appreciation off them and any potential, like winning the treble match days and that type of thing, then it's a great time to be buying Real Madrid players at this moment, because a lot of people won't be on them now. or not as many people will be on them, certainly. So that's the sort of thing what I'll be looking at. Now, football flash scores, as I mentioned it in one of my other videos, your tools of the traders is one of the things we're looking at, how to plan your fixtures and how to highlight everything's okay. So between now and, sorry, have I got my Europa League games? No, Europa League has just come on. It only goes a week ahead, flash scores, and who scored in all these main football apps, Football 24. They only go like a week ahead, so it can be frustrating. But we've got Arsenal, we've got Inter Milan, and we've got, I think that might be it. Yeah, that's it. So over the next 7 days, I've got 13 matches to have an interest in, starting with tomorrow night with Roma. We bought Kolarov, we kind of spoke about that already last night, just with all the antics that were on my hamshake last night. So tomorrow we've got Roma, and then Saturday we have Inter away to Parma, we have Arsenal away at Huddersfield, and we have Man United away to Fulham. 3 decent games, and for the people we're holding, Arsenal's probably the one I'm going to pay least attention to. I'm not expecting Eddie Nketiah to play anything in that. I'm really looking at the Bate game for him. And then we go into the 10th. We've got Tottenham at home and Leicester. We've got Monaco away to Montpellier. We've got Lille away to Guingamp. And we've got Atalanta at home to Spal. Okay, we then roll into next week. Monday, no football. Tuesday, we've got Roma. We've got Man United. And then Wednesday, we've got Spurs. And then Thursday, we've got Inter and Arsenal again. So it's a really busy 7 days for the portfolio. And when you're structuring it, if you are like me and you do like the potential for match day bonuses, having a good spread across different days, different competitions like Serie A, Ligue 1, Champions League, Europa League, Premier League, this type of thing. It just means you've always got something to keep your interest going and keep yourself ticking over. We got paid a dividend today for Falcao's assist, so the balance has been up by £1. And I thought, oh brilliant, I'll buy another Kolarov, and then I went and looked at him and he's been up a wee bit in price, which, you know, is what I said about Immobile last night. I bought him at £3.11, and I thought he's not really going to move. Come tomorrow morning, the eve of his match, you know, he'll probably move by a couple of pence. And that's what I expected to happen. But if you watched the video last night, you go back and watch it if you've not seen it. It's not a long video. It just totally, as soon as I bought him, it just turned, you know, basically. That's the kind of thing you expect to see happening. Close to a match day, you don't really expect to see a player's value drop. If anything, the day of, you expect to find those ones who are late to the party showing up and pushing their price up by a couple of pence. 5 pence is great, short term. But yeah, so that's where we're sitting with everything, guys. I also said in the last video I was going to chat to you a wee bit about what we're doing with Ericsson. I want to have a quick touch on video today, guys, and just say the next week ahead is really important for your portfolio. You really want it, especially, it's really important if you're a match day person like me. You really like match day dividends, you really like the potential for match day bonuses to help supplement and add on to the earnings you're going to be making off the capital appreciation as well as any other media buzz. Because goal, assist, clean sheet bonuses, guys, they're the ones that you have the most chance of winning. You know, anyone can win them who are playing in a qualifying competition. Winning the best midfielder of the day, the best defender of the day, especially in a treble and a double match day, is quite a hard ask. You know, when I started the channel, I started doing the videos, straight away we had a great weekend. We had Rakitic winning best midfielder, we had Zapata coming out of nowhere. You know, everything landed the way it does. But then the last couple of weekends it's not really went that way, and that's the way it goes with football in general. Fantasy football, gambling, football index, it's all one and the same thing. You take the highs with the lows. But the way this goes is, even though I've had a bad weekend, you can see my prices have dropped on these guys, I'm not, you know, the only way you lose money is by throwing them away on a quick sell, you know, which I didn't mind doing with 10 of my Ericsson and 5 of my Shaw, to go and get my hands on some Rafael Leao, and then have some money to mess about with, do the handshake stuff that happened last night, do the Kolarov thing that's on the now, just some money to roll about with, and keep a bit of topic going for the videos I'm making, just to make sure everything's still keeping relevant. Okay, but dropping in a couple of videos, I'll drop videos as and when, guys. I'm only going to make these. I went a couple of days without doing ones for different reasons. I'm only going to make these if I've got something I feel is information worth sharing or something that's worth highlighting. But like I say, guys, your portfolio now, my portfolio is too big for me. I don't like having 8 different players. I like having like 3, 1, 2, to be honest with you, and really being totally invested in my decisions. What I'm doing now is I'm spreading risk by having different players, different competitions, and different different little bits of stardust, you know, like Kolarov. I'm not expecting him to go make a big transfer in this, you know, summer. I'm not even going to be holding him much longer than a week, really, you know. Different. Every player offers me something different. Normally, I like to just stick my hat on 1 or 2 players, 3 players, 4 players at the most, depending on how much money I've got flipping about. But I've been saying it the last couple of days, guys. I'm going to say it again. Ronaldo, the now, is looking very, very attractive. Very attractive indeed. You want to keep on this as much as you can, guys. But it can also be good as well if you're really comfortable in your decisions. And, I want you to watch the videos as often as I put them up, guys, and like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. But if you're really happy with your portfolio, the way it's sitting, the purchases you've made, and you know your fixtures are coming up, like me, I've got my flash scores highlighted, I've got all my games coming up. If I forget about anything, my phone will beep and let me know goals are going in and whatever else. Something's going to be good, guys, just to ignore Football Index for a few days, just forget about it. And then when you go back into it, for better or worse, you see where your positions are at. But if you're like me, or your portfolio is similar to mine in terms of some of these positions you're holding, and who I'm thinking about is my Nketiah, my Kolarov, my Zapata, and my Shaw, I want to see their prices as often as possible, because if they take a random a pop up, and they really start, they end up in the increase list at top 3, top 5 level, then I might want to sell them, and you need to have your finger on the pulse if you're holding positions like this. But if you're holding people for the longer term, when I look at my portfolio, I'm thinking Eriksen, I'm thinking Icardi, I'm thinking Rafael Leao as well, and Falcao. I don't really care what price Falcao is. I'll hold him for the entire month, and he'll earn me money and he'll return to his usual above pound price. I still can't believe how cheap he is, really. It's absolutely mental. I know he's old, I know Monaco are doing crap, but he's still going to score goals and get assists, And on that note, little side note, guys, I really do believe Monaco are for the turn right now. Having Jardim back in was a bit of a gamble, but the last game they had, see, when I seen the lineup going out, I thought, wow, that is a strong Monaco team. It's the strongest team they've put out all season, and they beat a Toulouse team who, they're not exactly a giant killing. They're hovering around the same kind of level as a team you'd expect them to beat. But Fabregas, Golovin, Gelson Martins, Ronnie Lopez is back, Falcao up front, Sidibe's back as well. He's been injured, and even on the bench, Adrian Silva, and on loan from Leicester. Still got a few boys to come back. Chadley, Jovetic, and Mbuya, Naldo's suspended. I think they're for the turn, and the price he's at now, 91 pence, is just mental. He scores 1 goal, you're up, by a fraction of a pence, but he's barking mad how cheap he is. I'm tempted to buy more of him just to reduce my overall price on him, make it cheaper, and then when it goes up, make a wee sale. But I need other people I'm not doing any more quick selling. I was quite happy to quick sell a little bit of Eriksen because he'd dropped in price so much, and I wanted some of that money to be working for me on Rafael Leao, and then have some money to mess about with. I had 30 Shaw, and I quick sold 5 of them, so just with some change, just have a little rolling position that moves on. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. A wee bit longer than I thought, or I planned on. Have a great weekend, guys. I hope you get the next week planned out, and I hope your portfolio is sitting exactly the way you want it to. The last thing I want to say, guys, is if you're happy with your decision in the short to medium term, don't worry about these red lines. It means nothing. All it means is you could have made more money. It doesn't mean you're losing money. It just means you could have made more. Take care, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.